So I'll start off with perhaps the easiest place to start, which is charts, because most of us actually understand where a chart comes from and what it is that we're looking at. So here I have a chart. A lot of you will have this row of chart patterns in here, and perhaps while you're all there, you make a note of it if you haven't got your system open. But if you have got your system open, then you can go to View and take the tick out of Chart Patterns. Now, why you want to do that is to give you more desk space so you can see a bigger chart, but also it's a waste of space because those chart patterns are part of a third-party product which is no longer available on WinWay because the supplier has changed the way they actually create their indications and their patterns, and so it's not available on WinWay anymore. So remove those and they won't get in your way. But what we have now here is a chart window, and the chart window is broken up into three sections really. There's the chart at the top, there are the indicator section below, and on the right what we call the barometer view. The barometer view gives you a barometer of the stock you're looking at. So here we're looking at Anglo-American. Its chart ticker is AAL-LON for London, and we're looking at 19th of March. I'll go into these numbers a bit later. Over here on the right hand side, there's basic information about the chart, about the day, because we're looking at the 19th of March. We look at the 19th of March because the line here is the latest line, and the date will follow. So if I use my left arrow, I'm moving backwards in time, and you can see that there is data for each of those days that I move back. Well, let's keep it to the current date. We see the 19th of March. The close was 1095, high 1162, etc. So you can see the close, high, low and open for that ticker, and you can see the movement from the previous day. 46 down, 71 down, 86 down. I wonder why they're all down. I don't think many of us need explaining. Right, so that explains where that stock is on that day. But under here we've got the indicators. Here are the indicators at the top section are indicators which are plotted on the chart themselves. So here we can see the green, red and indicators. I've got three of them there. And I can just click on these if I want just one of those. About the 40-day moving average. Well, it's not the moving average, that's the exponentially smoothed average. Then I just click on that. If I hold my control key down, then I can click on others to add them in. Darren quite often has the 10, 20, 40-day ESA already on there. And we put Darren's indicators on here, although there are many other indicators in the system which you can choose from. And I'll go into those in a second. But moving through the barometer, we also see below the line are indicators which are plotted under here below the chart. So you can see both. And here I've got the MACD WinWay. I can put the volume WinWay, stochastics, etc. Now, I can have one, or I can, by holding the control key down, just like above, add all of these to it. Now, what I can do, there are lots of shortcuts, and you'll get to know these as you get to know the system and as you follow help. I'll take you on to the help section in a minute. But let's just move through this chart. One of the shortcuts is the Z key. So if you highlight a particular area, so if I want to highlight the charts, click on anywhere in chart, and then press the Z key, and it'll focus in on that to get rid of the underlying indicators underneath. Equally, if I press the Z again, it'll bring it back. So pressing the Z key just toggles between those two states. Equally, if I want to see the underneath indicators in more detail, I highlight it by clicking on it and then press the Z key, and I can see that all on my chart. And when I press Z, it will toggle between the full screen and just the below indicators. So I can highlight both of those. And if I've got more than one indicator below, so if I press my control key and have two, I can highlight the volume and use the Z key and have all the volume, or I can highlight the MACD, press the Z key, and I'll just see the MACD. So you can look at any of the indicators below or the chart over the whole screen just by pressing the Z key. Right, so there we have the chart, the three sections of the chart screen, and now we can work on the chart in various different ways. So at the moment we've got an arrow, which just means we can follow the arrow round. We can move up and down the chart using the arrow. So if I go underneath, just underneath here, I get a little matrix appears, and I click, then the line will go to that date on that part of the chart, and the data for that date will be appearing on the right-hand side here. So here we're looking at 20th of April 2018. So just below, I can just click on there. Equally, I can use the cursor at the bottom here to drag myself along, click and drag along the chart to look at history. And history goes back a fair way. This one, going back to 2009, it will go a lot further back, right to the beginning. This one obviously didn't start before 03. But you can drag yourself along, or you could use these arrow keys, which will do the same by clicking on those arrow keys. Or, as I say, putting the arrow underneath the chart and clicking to get to that time. I've got myself into a hole because I'm way back. What I don't want to do is start clicking forward. I've got this Adobe Connect thing in the way. Let me move it out the way. That's better. So I can now drag myself back to current. Equally, if I want to find the date, so if I want to find, I don't know, January the 1st, 2012, I just push D on my keyboard and this new date window comes up. So if I change that 20 to 10, hit enter, the system now goes back to that 19th of March 2010 for me.